Okay, so we're back. Ernesto apologized about that. I'm not sure if you heard me say how much I love you or not, man. But great guy and great crew, Cleo Bay Automotive. And so we're going to start, guys. We're going to try to not take a lot of your time. So we had Thursday and Friday where we kicked off the month. And, we had Saturday. A lot of times, we focus on wrapping up, cleaning up our month prior. So we were still kind of coming, when you go to finish a month out, how many know that you're running full speed, right? And sometimes when you cross that finish line, you've already put a lot of energy into finishing and trying to reel in deals. So when you cross that finish line, you sometimes miss 1 or 2 days. So I would imagine that a lot of times the 5th, especially when a Monday, okay, or the first Monday of a month comes in after the first couple of days of the month that come in at the end of the month prior, I think a lot of times we miss those days. Would you guys agree with that? So I want to talk about how to dominate in December by having the mindset of a champion. And I hate almost using phrases like mindset of a champion because, sometimes it sounds a little generic, but I want to take it away from all of the phraseologies that you've heard, got to think like a champion. And I want to really work on you thinking about having the mindset that a champion has. I'm talking about a champion. I'm talking about a real champion. I'm not talking about like a Rocky Balboa, Hollywood champion, right? That we play the theme song of him running up the stairs. I'm not talking about that, right? That worked in 1975, right? I'm talking about the champion that, whether you like them or not, I can't stand the New England Patriots, but they're champions. And what Bill Belichick, right, and Tom Brady have done over the years, or what the Steelers did in the 70s, or what, the 49ers did in the 80s and 90s when they put together dynasties, right? The mindset of a champion. How do they think? So if you want to dominate December, you've got to have a mindset of a champion. So here's my question to you guys. My question to Cleo Bay, my question to the dealers and the individuals and salespeople that are watching this. Are you ready to finish strong? Okay? Are you ready to finish strong? That's the question. Are you guys ready to finish strong?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. All right. So December, here's the thing about December, man. I've been in the car business for 21 years, and December is always like a month that people dread. I don't think it's because it's the end of the year, because I think that people like the end of the year because the beginning of the year is right after it. Does that make sense? You can't have the beginning of something until you have the end of something. And so the beginning of the year is right after it. So people like the end of the month, the end of the year. However, December is a month that I also hear excuses of why it's not going to be my best month. Excuses of why I'm not going to sell as many cars. Excuses to why, I can't possibly. We have the 15th of the month, Dave, through the 25th, where nobody comes into my dealership, nobody buys a car. How can I possibly meet my objectives? How can I possibly make that a month? And I'm going to challenge you that December can be your best month. And I'm not just saying this to get you rah-rahed up, okay? I'm going to lay some facts down. I believe this, guys. You're headed, all right, in the same direction as your thoughts. I just sent this out. Somebody told me this the other day. It's not mine, but a buddy of mine told me this. You're headed in the same direction as your thoughts. Lift your mind and you'll lift your life. Meaning that if you think you are going to have a sucky December, then guess what? You're going to have a sucky December. And if you think you're going to have a good December, then I think it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be on autopilot. But if it starts by thinking and getting your thoughts right in the direction that I can do something in December, I don't have to sandbag it or wait till January, right? And put my New Year's resolution in and say I'm going to have a better month, because that's not what champions do. Champions don't go, I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to go and get. Even if, as salespeople, you're watching, you have to have that affirmation, and you have to feel good about it. So a lot of times, if your year or your last quarter or your last couple of months or your last few weeks are not going to as planned, then we will automatically push it off so that we can get a clean slate and start over, because it's just what makes you feel better. Right? I like to feel better. How about you guys? Yeah. Right? So I've noticed that when I really want to progress, though, I can't wait. Because I got to, and if it makes you feel, if it makes you in your little box, if you've got to do it right, if you got to make it do it this way, then it makes you feel better to do it this way, then tell yourself that December is part of next year. You know what I mean? Like start next year now. If that's what you have to do. You understand? So we're headed the same direction as our thoughts. Your mind, here's another quote. Tommy sent this out from Jonathan Shuttlesworth the other day. I like this. It says, your mind is not your master, it is your servant. Train it, let it know it's not allowed to be depressed, discouraged, slow, or stupid. So what am I saying about this? I'm not throwing some mumbo jumbo out there, man. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, you know what, I'm cut up like Leon when I look like I do, right? I'm not telling you to like say something that's just simply not true. I'm telling you to get your thinking right, right? The good news is, guys, there's plenty of time and opportunity. And I'm gonna give you three things that there's plenty of time and opportunity to accomplish. Ready? There's plenty of time and there's plenty of opportunity to, number one, reach your goals. Right? There's plenty of time and there's plenty of opportunity. Time, listen, there's plenty of time. And opportunity is loaded with opportunity. Because guess what? If you can change your thinking, I want to say this real quick, it's real important that you're watching Cleo Bay. If you are thinking, stinking thinking, then guess what? If you change that, 90% or more of the people out there will not change it, so you'll have an unfair advantage. And you will, so there's going to be more opportunity come your way, or that you take advantage of than other people. So number one, the good news of it being plenty of time and opportunity will allow you to reach your goals. Number two, it'll allow you to exceed. So if you haven't reached your goals yet, it'll allow you to reach them. Number two, if you have reached them, it'll allow you to exceed them and exceed your sales targets. Some of you are sitting there going, I'm not really worried about that, man. I'm on track for the record year of my life. Well, good. Here's the deal. Do you want a record year, or do you want to put it to a place and set the bar so high that not only will be your record, no one else is going to hit it? That's right. And it's going to challenge you to break it next year, right? So exceed your sales targets. Number three, the time and opportunity that's left for us will allow us to close. Listen to this. Close the execution gap that's between your sales and your sales goals. There's a gap there, right? If your goals are here and your sales are here and you haven't reached where your goals say you want to be and your sales are here, okay, you have enough time and opportunity left to close that gap, right? Okay, if you want to dominate in December, you find yourself below target. So there's two things there. If you find yourself below target, that's one bracket. If you find yourself in a place where you want to dominate December, to dominate December, you can't be below target, right? You got to be at or above target, because you're just playing catch up if not. But if you're in either category, right, and you're unhappy with your individual, your team, or your corporate performance year to date, you must wake up to the reality, guys, right, that we have to change. We have to make some changes. So I'm going to give you 4 things I think we have to change going into December. Remember, it's all in our thinking. It starts there. Then I'm going to give you some practical stuff, and we'll be done. This will be about 15 more minutes. All right? Because I want to keep your attention here. I think this is important, and I think it'll help us. All right, I think we have to change our mindset. We're talking about having the mindset of a champion. If your mindset has been one of a loser, or been one of, I can't do it, or I'm not as good as the top salesperson, or I can never sell 30 cars a month, or I can never get to 40, there's no way I'm going to do that type of volume that Joe or Susie's doing, right? You got to change your mindset. Number 2, you got to change your choices. Because I've changed my mindset many times, but I didn't follow them up by changing my choices, and guess what happened? I realized 6 months later my mind was worse than it was when I started. Because I never changed my choices. I just changed my mindset, right? My dad used to tell me this way. He said, stop having an alligator head and a lizard butt. Like, you know, from the front, you're looking at it and it looks mean, like it's an alligator. Then it turns around, it's got this little tail, right? Like it's an alligator head and a lizard butt. You understand? You got to not only make the mindset change, then you got to change the choices. And then number 3, you got to change your habits. So once you change your choices, it's not enough to change them, because it takes days and weeks to change a habit for the positive and to get rid of one for the negative. So I'm going to change my mindset. Hey, I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to make the right choices. Then I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to start putting those choices, right, into habitual form. And then number 4, I'm going to change my strategies. Okay? These are the things I feel like we have to change. And here's the deal. There's no point. Listen to this. And I know I'm going fast, but this will be recorded. Cleo Bay, if you want to watch this later, it's going to be recorded, and we're sending this to you as well, Ernesto. But if you pretend, okay, that if you continue to do the same thing and play the game the same way, that your results, listen, will somehow improve, and that you'll miraculously finish the year strong, then you're fooled. Guys, I'm telling you, man, I've done that. I've pretended. I played that game. I wanted to feel good so bad in sales, because it stinks, right, to lose, that I have literally pretended, right? It's in my mind, I convinced me that it was real. That if I continued to do the same thing, it was going to change for me, because I'm a good guy. You know, I'm just different than those other people. Didn't do it, and it didn't work for them because of other reasons. No, it didn't work because it was the wrong thing to do, right? So, if you pretend, and I'm going to say, if you do that, and if you pretend, let me kind of go back for a second. If you pretend the year is going to finish miraculously strong, then you and I it's a fallacy, correct? So let me ask you this question. Let's write down a couple questions that you can ask yourself. Number 1, I'm skipping forward a little bit. What's your strategy, okay? As a manager, Cleo Bay, Ernesto, your team there. What's your strategy as a manager or a salesperson headed into the last several weeks of this year, what's your strategy? How are you going to finish? Not what is your final number going to be for the year or the quarter, and did it meet your standards? Because if you can't go back and handle any of the other 11 months right now, can't do anything about it. You can choose today to start. Well, why not have this meeting January 1? Because champions don't wait until everybody else waits. See, everybody else is going to do it January 1. Right. Champions start now because they're already thinking about what their 2017 is going to look like, and they don't want it to look like 2016 did. Right? Even if you had a great 2016. So my question to you is, what's your strategy going into the last several weeks of this year? And how are you going to finish? Number 2 question, what can you do today to set yourself apart from the pack? What can you do today, Cleo Bay? What can you do today, salesperson that's watching this, to separate you from the pack? Because it's a competitive world, man. You got people that are not as good as you are, that don't have as good of a product as you are, that don't care about the customer like you do, but they're still trying to get their money and they're still trying to get their business. And I'm gonna tell you that there's inferior products and inferior character that are bought from superior salespeople, meaning they were better than us, right? Not better, but they were just more talented. They just won. How about the best man win, the best woman win, right? And I mean inside. All right, so I'm going to tell you that we need to go on offense, all right? So here's where we're going. Here's some things that we can do today to go on offense, guys, all right? And aggressively attack our goals. You ready? Number 1, get serious. Number 1, get serious, all right? With limited time, okay, here it is, December 5th. With limited time, breathing down your neck, okay? Again, Dave, I had a record December, a record 2016, good. With limited time breathing down your neck, I had a record year. I made more money this year than I've ever made. I progressed every year. Okay, but I have limited time breathing down my neck because there's only X amount of days and weeks left in December, correct? So with limited time breathing down my neck, your neck, we have a choice. And that choice is nothing more, nothing less, but to get serious, right? And the way to do that, I'm gonna give you A, B, and C under get serious. A is set crystal clear goals. Crystal clear goals. I'm not talking about 2017 goals. I'm talking about December goals. B, raise the bar. C, step up your game. Set crystal clear goals, raise the bar, and then step up your game. If you got to set the crystal clear goals, right? Goals that are saying, look, I'm not going to get all crazy with it. I'm going to set crystal clear goals, and then I'm going to raise the bar, and then I'm going to step up my game to hit it. One thing, guys, I've learned about champions is some point in their life, some point in their career, each one has looked in the mirror and decided, have you ever done this? I've done it. You looked in the mirror and decided once and for all that A, I'm done playing games. I'm done settling for scraps. I'm done living far below my potential. Right? Come on, man. Every single champion, every single person that's ever done anything, every single person that you admire. If you're watching this, Ernesto, you can have your guys write this down and turn it into if you want to. I would challenge every person watching this to write down 3 people. I don't have to know them. No one around you has to know them. 3 people that you consider, okay, as a mentor in your life, dead or alive, in sales or in any other industry or genre of life. You just write down 3 people, and I'm going to tell you that every single one of them looked in the mirror, or if they didn't have mirrors when they lived, they looked in the water, okay? They looked at their image, they looked inwardly, and they decided once and for all, number 1, they were done playing games, number 2, they were done settling for scraps, and number 3, they were finished living far below their potential. Commitment, guys, always precedes action. You will only make advances towards your goals after you decide to get serious. You want to have a December that's going to be dominated by success, dominated and pushed forward by making it and doing it and accomplishing it. You want to have a mindset of a champion. You're only going to make advances towards your goals after you decide to get serious about doing everything in your power to finish the year strong by dominating this month. All right, so I'm going to give you some things. But before I do, I want to give you about your goals that you set, about the bar and about the stepping it up. Write 10 ways. not now, but write 10 ways today that you can hit your goal. Write 10 ways that you can hit that number and accomplish your goal in December. You want a path? Write 10 of them. Find 10 ways. If I want to do this, I want to make this, I want to accomplish this, I want to reach this, I want to make this kind of money, I want to finish the year like this, and I need to write 10 ways. By the time you get to 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, it may be challenging, but I'm going to tell you something. If you can find 10 ways to do it, you can do it.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? If you can find 10 ways to do it, there's no excuse to not make it happen. All right, so number one, right? Number one, we just found out was get serious. Number two, refuse to die. Refuse to die. If you're not where you want to be this month, this year, instead of giving up and waiting till the new year rings, right? Those who have the mindset of a champion do what it takes to finish strong. You ever heard of a comeback? Anybody ever heard of a comeback? A comeback, and by the way, when I say a comeback, I'm talking about a person. Like in other words, that's originally, Joey's a comeback, right? He's a comeback story. In other words, it's not a thing, it's a person. You understand? Like a thing doesn't come back, right? He's a comeback. If a business or industry ever came back, you can trace it back to the leaders because they were really the comebacks, right? They were the ones. It wasn't just the business itself just started breathing, right? Joey's a comeback, Kendra's a comeback, Tommy's a comeback, you're a comeback. So a comeback acknowledges, listen, they acknowledge that their back's against the wall. So if you're not, you got to get serious, number one, then you got to refuse to die. So if you're behind, then you're a comeback. You're not a loser, you're not a failure, you're a comeback. But you have to acknowledge that your back is against the wall. You have to accept the choices of your past performance. You have to analyze both the opportunities and the obstacles, the strengths, and then resolve that you're going to get back on your feet. You understand? That's what a comeback does. A comeback doesn't just come back by accident, right? They come back because they go, first of all, hey, I am a comeback. First of all, my back's against the wall, man. Yep. If we took a poll in the room of whatever rooms are watching, everyone would pick the person who is least likely to succeed or has it in their mind. So they're a comeback. And they have to accept the consequences of their past performances, and they have to analyze the opportunities and the obstacles, the strengths, and they have to resolve to get back on their feet. That's a comeback. Every great comeback story in history, guys, has been a result of 4 things. All right? Number one, choices. Their choices. So if you refuse to die, which is number 2, then you have to make choices as a comeback. Number B, every great comeback in history has been the result of their determinations. Number 1 is their choices. Number 2, their determinations. C, their creativity. Meaning, what do you mean by that? I mean, like, if you got to make the choice and then you got to be determined, but then you got to get creative. It's not just like I'm determined, so I'm going to go stand out in a point and smoke a cigarette and wait for that next up to come in, and I'm going to jump on them and beat them senseless until they get into a car, right? I'm going to get creative. It's like, I'm not going to wait till the phone rings in the next dealer. I'm not going to wait until I get on the phone, boy, at 2 o'clock with that follow-up today. And man, I'm going to follow with him, and he's going to have no choice but to buy. No, it means you got to get creative. I got to hit my numbers or what's not non-negotiable. My goal is non-negotiable. But see, I'm a comeback. And a comeback has got to make a choice. They got to be determined, and they got to get creative. Right? Number 3, if you want to have the mindset of a champion, don't play prevent defense. So let's just say you're that person watching right now and you're having the year of all years, you're not struggling financially, your commissions are where they need to be, then this is for you. Don't play prevent defense. How many football fans? If you're watching, you're a football fan, how many like prevent defense? Sucks. Horrible. You know the drill, right? Your team is up, X amount of points with about 2 minutes left to play, right? They're up 4 points. And your defense puts in 7 DBs, right? And they try to prevent the other team from completing a long pass or a touchdown. In the meantime, the offense takes advantage of the alignment that the defense has put out there, throws a bunch of short passes and scores anyway. Right? It seems like the only thing that prevent defense does in prevention is prevent us from winning. Are you pressing ahead? Are you working just as hard as ever? Or are you protecting yourself as the leader or as the person in front against some uncertainty by putting your prevent defense in. Do you know that prevent defense? Listen to this. Many owners, many salespeople, many managers watching, many of you, many of me, all of us, right, have done this. Revenue generators, we've gone into and go into that prevent defense, whether it's the end of the year or not, right? Especially as December is here. But I want to ask you, what sense does that make? Did you know this? Because I didn't know this until I started studying now, that more points are scored in the last 2 minutes of the first half and the last 2 minutes of a game of football than all other 56 minutes of football combined, despite the prevent defense. So I'm going to tell you, it doesn't work. More points are scored in the first half, 2 minutes, in the last 2 minutes of the game than all 56 minutes combined. Prevent defense doesn't work, does it? So if you want to crush December, you want to dominate December with the mindset of a champion, then you can't go into prevent defense. We have 2 more, guys. We're almost done, about 5 minutes. Number 4, do different things, or do things differently. Do different things or do things differently. I'm going to give you A, B, and C in this, right? A, to finish strong, you must execute. The better you execute, the better you perform, and the stronger you finish. So to finish strong, you must execute. The better you execute, the better you perform, and the stronger you finish. B, to finish strong, you must change. You only have 2 options. You can either do things differently or do different things. If what you're doing is not working, then you either need to do it differently or do different things. Meaning it might be you doing it wrong and going, it's working for Joey, but it's not working for me, says Kendrick. But to closely analyze what Joey's doing, he's just got the idea of what he's doing. He's not following the process. So he's doing it differently than he's doing it. It just looks similar, right? Or it could be that what he's doing is not working. He's adapted what's not working for him, for himself, and he needs to do something different. You understand? So you either need to do something different or do things differently. But whatever it is, don't continue to do it exactly the same if it's not working, right? So to finish strong, you must change. C, to finish strong or close. Finish strong or close your execution gap, you must ask yourself this question. So to finish strong or to close the gap between your sales and your sales goals, ask yourself this question. Do I need to do things differently, or should I focus on doing different things? Number 5. Lastly, strike fast. Strike fast. There's an old rule. You might have heard this saying. The old rule, I believe, doesn't apply here, and it doesn't apply to the mindset of a champion. The old rule says it's not the big who, it's the big who eats the small. I say it's not the big who eats the small, it's the fast who eats the slow. It's not the big who eats the small, it's the fast who eats the slow. Meaning that if you're setting up a December to remember, right? If you're setting up, hey, I'm going to dominate in this month. I'm going to have the mindset of a champion. I'm going to do this. Then I would challenge you to strike fast. That's number 5. Strike fast. Because it's not the big who eats the small, it's the fast who eats the slow. Meaning speed is your massive competitive, unfair competitive advantage, and we must utilize it with great authority. Because here's the deal. While everybody else is sitting there, because here's what people do, right? It's innate sometimes on the inside of us. I've got to change, but I got to sit down and figure it all out and have a big plan. It takes me 3 or 4 days to figure out what I'm going to do to have a dominating December. In the meantime, the hungry, right, go out and get all the spoils first. By the time the person that sat there and thought about everything gets out and goes out to get it, there's nothing left, right? Because it's better to strike fast because time is against you. I'm talking about finishing strong, right? Speed is a demonstration of A, commitment, B, competence, C, clarity of purpose. Speed demonstrates, I believe, your commitment. I believe it demonstrates your competence. And it demonstrates a clarity of purpose. Because if you have a clear purpose, then you don't have a problem striking fast. If you're competent, right, in your product, in yourself, if you're competent, then you don't have a problem striking fast. And if you're committed to making it happen, you don't have a problem striking it fast. I believe that we will only dominate December after we develop a sense of urgency. A sense of urgency. It's got to be in me, right? About what we're doing. Urgency to the extent that getting results and achieving our goals is a matter of priority. I believe we must take massive. That's a word I capitalized. Massive daily action and turn the pursuit of speed, right? Of speed into a primary weapon. I believe it. I believe that we'll dominate and finish strong if we do that. If we get first. If we get first. Everybody that's looking to buy a car, don't let them go to your competitors. You do everything in your power to get them in a vehicle while they're there, because only 33% buy from the first dealership that they go to. If you have somebody on the phone, don't you warm them all up just so somebody that's not as good as you are, but that strikes fast, closes them down. You must take massive daily action. Decide, guys, to win this year. All right? Decide. Ernesto's crew, Cleo Bay, you're watching. Decide to win this year. Dominate in December. Finish strong. Have the mindset of a champion. I believe this. The opportunities are still there, and fewer people are trying to score, and they're not thinking like a champion. I believe that there's less people on the playing field because they're already looking to next year. They've already discounted December. They've already thought not like a champion, but like somebody who's already comfortable or somebody who has already lost heart. I'm going to challenge you to look at the opportunities that are still out there and try your hardest to score and think like a champion. Don't get in the prevent mode, right? Don't get out of the game altogether, because that's what your competitors are doing. That's what other people are doing. They're either in prevent mode or they're out of the game altogether. So I would say this: now is the time to go on offense, right? This will provide you with an unfair competitive advantage and is the perfect solution for the biggest problem faced by everyone in sales. The need for more, better, and faster results in a highly competitive world, in a highly competitive industry. That's good. All right? Who's ready to dominate? Come on. Huh? Come on the count of three. Here's what we're going to do to end this thing for those watching. Right on the count of three. Let's put our hands together, guys. Put your hands towards here. Right? On the count of three, we're going to say dominate. Ready? Leon, you want to lead us? Yes. 1, 2, 3. Dominate! All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ernesto.